Have you ever watched a horror movie and thought, no way, that's actually scary? Or maybe you've experienced a paranormal event so unsettling it left you questioning reality. Imagine this: a rundown old farmhouse, neglected and abandoned, standing solitary and ominous on the edge of town. Tales of paranormal activity were exchanged around crackling campfires with wide-eyed fascination. The house loomed in their memories like a specter, a silent witness to events best left untold. Despite the warnings from the locals, she felt compelled to get closer. Perhaps it was the morbid curiosity that often gets the better of us, or maybe she simply couldn't believe the tales she'd heard. Whatever the reason, she was about to find out just how real those tales were. After all, it was just another car on the road. But Ryan had been lying in wait, and the moment Chantal stepped into his path, he made his move. What happened next was a blur to Chantal. She probably never saw it coming. Nature was reclaiming its own, slowly but surely, erasing all evidence of the crime. But everywhere he turned, he was confronted with reminders of what he had done. He could hear whispers about the case in the grocery store, see the pain in the eyes of the townspeople. He had heard about the DNA sketch that the police had released, and he knew that his time was running out. He needed to confess. But where would he go? Who could he confess to? He didn't want to go to the police, not yet. He was afraid of what their reaction would be. He needed to prepare himself. So he went to the one place he still felt a semblance of peace, the North Lake Community Church. He tried to escape, but there was no escaping the demons that now haunted him day and night. And in that moment, he hoped that the higher power he had rejected so carelessly would offer him some solace. But he had forgotten one crucial detail. God doesn't play games. Ryan's confession wasn't born out of repentance, but out of desperation. He wasn't seeking forgiveness. Sleep offered no respite. Each night he was plagued by nightmares, the faces of Chantal's grieving family flashing before his eyes. Wakefulness brought its own torment, the constant fear of being caught. He was a prisoner in his own home, trapped by the walls that once offered him comfort. But the community wasn't ready to give up. They continued their search, driven by an unwavering determination to find Chantal. The weight of his crime pressed down on him, making each breath a heavy burden. He knew he couldn't keep running forever. The guilt was eating him alive, and he was desperate to find a way out of the labyrinth he had created for himself. Finally, on May 15, 2016, almost a week after she had disappeared, her body was found. It was a devastating moment, the confirmation of the worst fears. The community mourned, their grief echoing through the streets of Brownwood. They buried Chantal with full honors, saying goodbye to their beloved friend and neighbor. Little did they know that Ryan was watching from the shadows, his guilt growing with each passing day. One moment she was walking along the path, the next she was in the back of Ryan's truck, struggling to free herself from his grasp. Ryan was stronger than she was, and he had no intention of letting her go. He bundled her into the back of the truck and sped away, the wheels crunching on the gravel road. The abandoned farmhouse receded into the distance, leaving Chantal with nothing but fear and uncertainty. When Chantal first spotted the house, she felt a chill run down her spine. He had chosen a secluded spot in the woods near the abandoned farmhouse, a place where nobody would find them. He dragged Chantal into the darkness, away from the faint glimmer of civilization. She screamed, her voice echoing into the void, but there was nobody to hear her cries. In the darkness of the woods, Ryan carried out his horrifying plan. The struggle was brief, and soon everything went black for Chantal. The sight of the dilapidated structure sent a shiver through her. He looked around to make sure he was alone, and then he fled. He left Chantal's body where it lay, thinking he had gotten away with his crime, but he hadn't. The community was about to rise up and find him. As days turned into weeks, the search for Chantal intensified. Every rock was turned, every leaf was examined, but her body was nowhere to be found. People started losing hope, believing that she had simply vanished into thin air. But the truth was darker than they could have imagined. It wasn't just the building itself. It was the palpable sense of dread that seemed to emanate from its very core. At that moment, she should have turned back, but curiosity propelled her forward. Yet it wasn't just the eerie tales that kept people away. Beneath that surface lurked a darkness that he carefully concealed. That day, as Chantal embarked on her fateful stroll, Ryan Riggs was preparing to carry out his sinister plan. He had been watching Chantay, studying her routine, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He chose that day, the day that would turn his life into a living hell. He drove his pickup truck to the spot near the abandoned farmhouse where he knew Chantay would pass. His truck was nondescript, blending seamlessly with the other vehicles on the road. It was an ordinary pickup, just like hundreds of others you'd see on any given day. But for Chantal, it was a vehicle to her demise. He lived in a small house on the outskirts of town with his parents. The house was ordinary in every sense, a typical suburban dwelling with a white picket fence and neatly mowed lawn. But what on behind closed doors was far from ordinary. Ryan's mind was a labyrinth of disturbing thoughts and violent impulses. He kept these hidden from his family and friends, knowing that they wouldn't understand. He was a ticking time bomb, and nobody had any idea it was there. There was something about the very presence of the house that seemed to repel visitors, as one local put it. You can feel the evil in that house just oozing out of its walls. They had heard enough ghost stories to last a lifetime, and perhaps they were right. Who knows? It had been vacant for several years, its windows boarded up, its paint peeling and weathered. To the locals, it was more than just an old building. Whispers circulated about strange lights and sounds emanating from the house during the darkest hours of the night. Legends of a haunted house thrive on isolation and neglect, and this one had both in spades. The house stood alone on a large plot of land overgrown with weeds and creepy vines, which added to its air of mystery and menace. It was a place where shadows danced eerily in the moonlight, creating visions that played havoc with one's perception. Today we're exploring the eerie tales of haunted houses that blur the line between fiction and reality. From ghostly apparitions to unexplained phenomena. These stories will send chills down your spine and make you appreciate the comfort of a truly safe and secure home. In the heart of Texas, nestled within the town of Brownwood, lies a story that sends shivers down the spine. For the residents of Brownwood, the house was a place to steer clear of, a dwelling steeped in local folklore. One Friday the 13th, as if fate itself were playing a cruel trick, a young woman named Chantay ventured too close. She was a 25-year-old resident of the community. Her daily walks had become a ritual. She loved connecting with nature, breathing in the fresh air, and soaking in the surroundings. That fateful Friday, she chose a route that took her close to the ominous abandoned farmhouse. As she strolled along the path, she was humming a cheerful tune, completely unaware of the danger that lurked in the shadows. Chantal was well known in the community. Her warm smile and friendly demeanor had endeared her to many. She was the kind of person who could light up a room with her infectious laughter. But on that fateful day, her laughter was silenced forever. As she rounded a bend in the path, she saw the house looming up ahead. Ryan Riggs was no stranger to trouble. With his pale skin, sandy hair, and piercing blue eyes, he was a striking figure. But his looks were deceiving. It was May 13th, 2016. A date that would forever be etched in the annals of Brownwood, Texas. When she spotted the truck, she probably didn't think twice. The ride was short, and soon Ryan arrived at his destination. The next morning, as the sun peeked through the trees, casting long shadows on the ground, Ryan emerged from the woods. Deep in the woods, hidden from prying eyes, Chantal's body lay decomposing. In the aftermath of Chantay's death, Ryan tried to piece together his life. Months went by and the town began to heal, but the wound in Ryan's soul grew deeper. On November 15th, 2017, Ryan decided he could bear it no longer. The church was a beacon of light in the darkness of Ryan's life.